All right, so today I wanted to talk about how to make money with your drone. Now, I talked about previously about starting a drone business, but I wanted to talk specifically about what platforms are out there to use to help make money with drones. So today I'm going to focus only on Droners.io because that's the platform I'm currently active on and have been active on for almost a year. And so just wanted to give my feedback, the pros and cons of using this platform and trying to, navigate it, and is it really worth it in the long run to use it. So stick around, I'll go over pros and cons, and let's go ahead and get started. So pros, first thing for me is that Droners.io is free to use, or let me say, it's free to sign up. Currently there is no active membership that's required to pay for a subscription. You only pay 10% when you land a job and you're paid. So that's one thing that's really nice about it, and that's the reason I stay active on Droners, is the fact that it is free to be on it. So even if I go 3-4 months without a job coming in, I'm not paying to stay active on the platform. Now that does have its own discussion about, well, there's so many pilots, how do you stand out? Maybe if it was a subscription model, would that help me land more paying jobs because it'll weed out a lot of people, since there is a lot, I think it's thousands of pilots that are on this platform. But for me, it just makes sense to stay active on it because it's not costing me anything. And if a job does pop up, I can go on there and I can apply or bid on specific jobs, and hopefully I land it. So that's the first pro, is that currently there is no active subscription to be a pilot listed on Droners.io. So that's one pro. Second is that it does give you the flexibility that you can pick and choose jobs that you want to take. Now that does have the first thing part of that is that you gotta land jobs. So after being on Droners.io for almost a year, I've landed 4 paying jobs. That's probably out of about 100 jobs that I've bid on. So I only have less than a 5% acceptance rate. Now, I really believe with this platform that it comes down to cost. How much am I bidding on the job, and how much does the client that's advertising the job want to pay? Now, most of the time I will bid what they're asking. So if they list the price at 200, I bid at 200. Sometimes I go a little bit less if the drive time is short. But even when I've applied and significantly underbid, I still don't get the job. And that was kind of that'll go into a con about feedback, but it is nice that if the jobs come up, you do have the ability to pick and choose. So if you're in a high volume market where there is a lot of jobs coming in, it does give you that flexibility where you can choose to bid or not bid. So, it gives you that flexibility to work when you want to. For me, I work mostly weekends on this, since this is on the side. So it really gives me that freedom to only work on the schedule that I want to work. And most jobs, to be honest, in my opinion, are very flexible with scheduling. There are some that have firm deadlines, but for the most part, I can just accept the job and tell them I'm going to have completed that weekend, and that's worked out well. That was the second pro, is that it does offer some flexibility when it comes to scheduling. The third and final pro I have is that it does give you experience, if that's what you're looking for, to help build a portfolio with paid jobs. But to be fair, you can go out and find some local construction and shoot that. As long as the airspace is clear. If there's a new building, if you know somebody that has residential, your own home, you can even shoot. So if you're looking to build a portfolio, you could do that on your own, and that could help land some jobs. In the meantime, it is, I would say, a stepping stone. You can get the experience, you can apply for the job. If you get it, great. If you don't, you can learn from it. And like I said, it is one platform out there, and this is just my opinion. There are others out there. There's Fly Guys, forget the other one, B360, I think it is, that you can go out, but that's not focused just on drones. Those are more for like home insurance, and you're taking pictures inside and outside, and that's a whole nother thing. I personally haven't signed up or done any of that. I've only focused on droners. But yeah, those are my pros. So free to be an active member on the platform. 2 is the second is the flexibility that it does give you. And 3rd, you can be a good stepping stone to build experience. Now, as far as cons go, I'm sure if you go on any bulletin board specifically about this, you'll see a lot of feedback. It is, in my opinion, low paying. especially since I have my own side drone business. I can honestly tell you that the 4 jobs that I've done on the platform, if I would have done it through me personally, I would have made at least 3 or 4 times the amount of money. Right now, those 4 jobs only average out payout was about $100 to $125. And it's not typically a high-paying position. You don't come onto droners for high-paying jobs. Now, don't get me wrong, there's probably high-paying jobs. I do see some of them pop up. But when I'm looking in Southern California, $100 to $200 is what I see mostly. And then again, you got to factor in, is it worthwhile to complete? I mean, is it a timeline? Do they have a firm deadline that they need to be done? I mean, I see some jobs that pop up and they want it done the next day for $100. And on top of that, it's an hour drive there, an hour drive back, so that may not work for you. Otherwise, you're not going to see, $400 or $500 jobs. I have seen that when the client has gotten in a bind where a previous pilot has either canceled or not able to complete the job. Then all of a sudden you'll see the price skyrocket that they were willing to pay. So I have seen that happen many times. But again, it's not always, it's an exception. It's not the rule on that platform. So first con is that it is low paying. And that has to be a factor of whether you're going to accept a job. But again, it's low paying. And if you don't want to do the job, just don't bid on it. The second con I have is that the feedback for pilots that don't get a bid. That was one of the first things when I started out I wanted to know is, okay, why didn't I land this job? If it's solely on cost, which I believe that's really what it comes down to, then great. But a lot of the pilots too that get promoted when new job is created have typically been on the platform for a long time and have a lot of reviews. I've only been able to get 2 reviews out of the 4 jobs that I've completed. Now, privately on the communication, they've all been extremely happy. I've done them on tight deadlines. I've gotten it uploaded, but they don't leave reviews. So, it's hard to stand out when you have a pilot that only has, like me, that only has 2 reviews versus someone that might have upwards of 50 reviews. It's really hard to stand out when it comes to that. If there's no motivation for the client to leave a review, then so be it. I mean, it's kind of one of the things of the jobs. I've tried to get them to review after the fact, haven't been successful. So that really leaves you at a disadvantage for new pilots starting off, that you are competing against people that are established, that have been on the platform for a while and have a lot of reviews. And to be fair, that's how most of us are going to choose to hire somebody anyways. You want to go with somebody that has a lot of reviews and a lot of positive feedback. So that is my second con right there. The third con is that I'm seeing more and more jobs posted on the platform that have little to nothing to do with drones. I've seen ones that they want you to put a real estate sign on a vacant lot, and that's it. Others, they want you to go and, survey a site, but they only want handheld footage. They only want you to use an actual camera and not a drone. And they even specify that do not use the drone as a handheld. They want you to do a camera and do that. So, I mean, those jobs are popping up more and more often, and it's really hard I wish there was a way for them to review the job before it's posted and only focus on jobs that have to do with drone. I think that's the big one too, it helps, clean up your inbox if you're getting a lot of these job postings and have to go in there and look to see. So I believe there is a way that they're already verifying these jobs before they're posted. But again, I'm still seeing quite a bit of jobs that are coming out and have nothing to do with drone at all. So that is one that you have to be prepared, is that every job posted is not going to be a drone job. But again, if you don't like it, just don't bid on it. My next con I would have is that the job postings don't always include all the details. And what I mean by that is the description on the job that you're bidding on can be very misleading for the final one. And a lot of the the postings that have that is, you'll see in the description they'll send we'll send a full shot list, or we'll send a video when you win the bid. I find that very misleading, because I'm basing my pricing on what you put in that description, and I don't want to surprise after I have already accepted, which probably would be a low offer anyways. And then on top of that, you're going to add on another hour or more work. And the problem is when you already accepted it, you're committed to the job. So again, I think that goes back to vetting of the jobs before they reach the pilots, is make sure that the full job is listed in its entirety. And a lot of clients do that. But again, you do see that, and that's something that I see on the bulletin boards too, is that, not listing all the jobs, just all the description in the jobs before accepting bids. And that could be frustrating to a new pilot starting off, where they think it's only an hour's worth of work or less and turns into 2.5 hours edited footage and, color graded and uploaded and all these other restrictions on there that have to be done. And now you're committed to doing that for what may be a low paying job. So in closing, Droners.io is a tool out there. It's one of many. It is the only one that I have used. So just keep that in mind, that you may have different results than I have. But again, you're going to have to go out there to look at different platforms and try it out for yourself. But, take the risk, but still be safe about it. And again, when it comes to it, you want to build a portfolio, you want to build experience. And more importantly, as a new pilot or starting a drone business, you want to be compensated fairly for the job that you're doing. And that's something to keep in mind, is time. Your time is money. And so, yeah, maybe, I can get this done in 2 hours, I'm going to do this. Yeah, but realistically, what would you charge if you weren't going through a platform? So keep that in mind. The platform does have its own way of pricing, and it's typically on the lower side. But again, if you don't want to use it, don't use it. It is something out there. And for me, like I said, it doesn't hurt for me to stay active on it, because I'll take jobs as they come up. But again, even in Southern California, where I think would be an active market, like I said, I've only completed 4 jobs in the last almost 1 year. So it's not something that's bringing in substantial money for me. Again, I've one job that I've done private or through my drone business made more than all those jobs combined. So just keep that in mind too, is that it's, and from a drone business perspective, I think that's something you could take with you, is that I like to offer consistency, and that's why my clients have come back to me, is they know they're going to get the job, what kind of job they're going to get from me when they hire me. And that's something that you may not see on a platform, is that they may be hiring different pilots each time, so their experience is going to be different each time. So you want to build that brand, that trust, and have those clients coming back. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, just let me know below. Otherwise, I'll see you guys on the next video.